From the title of this video is not about marbles. Instead, it's about Total Drama, one of my favorite shows to have ever watched. For those that have yet to see Total Drama, this video will contain spoilers, but then again, it has been almost 2 decades since the show first aired. For this video, it's going to be my opinion on every character from Gen 1. Alright, let's roll. The Gen 1 cast has 25 characters, with most of them competing in the first season. And the first character we're going to talk about is Beth. When it comes to Beth, she isn't really liked by many people, and I can understand why, but to me, she's not that bad. While she didn't do much in her first season besides standing up to Heather and bringing in a cursed Tiki idol for some reason, she was kind of alright. Though her bringing in that idol caused her team to go on a losing streak, which led to her eventual elimination. As for season 2, she had her moments. She proved herself to be pretty decent in some challenges, but for half of her time in action, she would be talking about how her boyfriend does this and that, or some nonsense like that. And if she does have a boyfriend, why did she do this? Her ramblings about her boyfriend weren't exactly entertaining to me. With that being said, she did what she had to do to even make it to the final 2 in action. She had a chance to join World Tour, but we'll get to that later. My opinion on Beth, she's an alright C-tier character. Next up, the surfer girl, Bridget. And when it comes to her first season, she was actually solid. Her interactions with other characters were nice, and her relationship with Jeff, that was nice to see. She was cool enough in the first season, but the second season, all she did was make out with Jeff, which led to her getting eliminated very early, and then she became a co-host for Total Drama Aftermath alongside Jeff. The Aftermaths in action were not that interesting to me. For World Tour, she came back and was on the ironic tragedy known as Team Victory. Her time there was short, in which she spent it flirting with Alejandro, even though she has a boyfriend. She tried to kiss him one more time, but ended up kissing a frozen pole, which led to her getting eliminated. She then spent the rest of the season co-hosting Aftermath again, and she befriended a bear named Bruno. When it comes to Bridget, the only season I liked was Island. I was not much of a fan of her in the other 2 seasons. Another C-tier character, though I do like her more than Beth. Next character, Cody. Such a hit or miss character this guy is. In his first season, he spent either most of his time trying to act cool for the ladies or trying to get at Gwen, but in reality, he ends up looking like a total bozo. Though sometimes, to me, he can be a bit unironically funny. And I'll say this for Cody, he did help Trent get with Gwen once he realized that Gwen was into Trent, so there's that. The way he went out in Island was crazy. Getting mauled by a bear and then sinking into the water while in a wheelchair. Insane, but he managed to survive because cartoon. When it comes to Cody and World Tour, he spent the first bit of it doing well in challenges and trying to get at Gwen again for some reason. But for the most part, he was just getting tossed around and carried by Sierra. He couldn't exist for 3 seconds without Sierra breathing down his neck ready to do something. He got into the final 3, but most of it would be because of Sierra. That and he was not the main target for eliminations. He's in between B and C tier for me, but he is very hit or miss. Next character to talk about, Courtney. What a character she is. To me, she is one of the most entertaining characters throughout the entire show. Her first season was kind of nice. She wasn't too high maintenance, and her moments with Duncan were really nice to see, though the way she got eliminated was crazy. For season 2, she would join halfway, in which she would be a lot more entertaining, even if she's more high maintenance than before. As funny as Courtney was in this season, there were moments where she was just, I don't know. She was much more of a powerhouse though, had a good track record when it comes to challenges, though writing a 32-page letter for someone is crazy. For World Tour, she didn't seem as high maintenance like Action, but she still had some moments. And speaking of World Tour, Courtney can sing for real. Like, she is one of the best singers out of the entire cast. The first half of her World Tour season was nice and even had some moments bonding with Gwen. Then the second half kicked off with a love triangle moment and Courtney went back to good old Courtney. As high maintenance as she was, Courtney got done dirty by her friend ish, and her boyfriend. Wow. Then comes Total Drama All-Stars. While she did have some traits that stuck with her from past seasons, she was a pretty much level-headed character. She was still cool and even managed to re-bond with Gwen and even had some moments with Scott, who we'll get to at another point. Just don't tell her that Chris's place was a cottage.
It was not a cottage!
With how things were going, this seemed to be a really nice season for Courtney. Then Sunday, Muddy Sunday happened, in which Courtney did a complete 180, which led to her losing her best friend, her boyfriend, and the game itself. Continuity errors gonna continuity errors. Even with that, Courtney all around is still a very entertaining character and is A tier in my opinion. The next character I'm gonna talk about, DJ. I thought he was a nice character in season 1. A big guy with a big heart. He was pretty much just chilling most of the time. No problem. A cool character he was for the first season. One problem in my opinion is that would be his only good season. DJ in season 2 was not really that entertaining to me, and it didn't really help that he would quit early on because of what would mama think of me. I get that, but at the same time, $1 million is on the line, so... And it did not get better in World Tour. His chicken World Tour was mostly just animal curves, accidentally hurting animals. It was just not fun to watch. It felt like DJ was kept around in World Tour just to suffer. As for the last time we seen DJ, it would be in Revenge of the Island. And his cameo of that season was just sad to see. A character I enjoyed in the first season has become less and less enjoyable as time progressed. In my opinion, he's around the same range as Cody, another hit or miss. Next character is one of the faces of Total Drama, to me at least, Duncan. In my opinion, one of the best characters in the entire show. A juvenile delinquent while also having a soft side. And like probably most characters, his first season was easily his best. And while Duncan can be very entertaining, he do be saying some wild stuff that he gotta chill on.
Well, the guy's got his limits. Your mind's about 300.
His relationship with Courtney was nice in season 1, but in season 2, it just got off the wall. Aside from that in action, he was still a fun character. And his moments with the rest of the Screaming Gaffers were really entertaining. And speaking of Harold, his beef with Duncan was fire to see. But as for Duncan in World Tour, he still had some good moments. Well, the whole love triangle thing was not, but that's not to say it wasn't entertaining. It did bring in some drama. It just didn't help any of the 3 main characters for said drama. The thing I noticed about Duncan is that in every season he participated in, he made the merge. Wouldn't have happened in World Tour, but thanks to Chris being Chris, he made it to the final 5. All-Stars was easily not his best season. He had a few good moments, but most of it just derailed him.
Thanks, man. Ugh.
Trying his hardest to prove that he's a bad boy, still caring about Courtney even though he's now in a relationship with Gwen. His relationship with Gwen being broke off in that same season.
You think she was watching?
I can't do this anymore. It's over.
What just happened?
And then his season ends in disqualification because he blew up Chris's mansion, or cottage, or Playa de Luz, whatever you want to call it. Even with that, Duncan is still one of my favorite all-time characters in Total Drama. Top 10 for sure, S-tier character. As for Eva, I won't be talking about her too much since she only appeared in 1 season. But with that being said, she deserved to appear in at least another season. It sucks because she didn't really get to do a lot in Island. Lasted a few episodes before getting voted off second, made her return in the middle of the season and got eliminated in the same episode. Though I will say, even though she was on the sidelines for World Tour, her time there was at least nice to see. Another C-tier character, but she deserved so much more than just 1 season. Next character, Ezekiel. For his first season in Island, I didn't really like him. His first impression could have been handled a lot better, but it is what it is. And even so, he's not really that interesting of a character to me. It seems like he did more in the 1-hour specials for Island and Action than he did on the actual show. But seeing what happened to Zeke in World Tour, Revenge, and All-Stars was just sad. Getting to appear on World Tour, getting thrown off the plane, somehow managing to climb back onto the plane's landing gear, wasn't allowed back in until Duncan quit, cost his team the challenge, which led to him being voted off first for the second time, somehow managed to grab onto a part of the plane and got back in. He even managed to play part in the challenge and had a chance to come back into the game, but was unfortunately kicked out and still held on to the plane. And as the season went by, his conditions got worse and he has become less of a human and more of feral. And at the end of the season, he ends up taking the money before falling into a volcano. And he somehow survived because total drama. He appeared a few times in Revenge and All-Stars, mostly in the underground mines, interfering in challenges. The last time we see Ezekiel was with the other wild animals, and wow, while I don't really like Ezekiel, I have him as D tier. Like Eva, he deserved way better than what he got. As for Jeff, he was mostly just chilling, just a party guy that's here for the vibes. And when it comes to Jeff, you need a friend like that. Just rocking, having a good time, and spent some time with Bridget too. He got really far in Island, but his season in Action was very short with Bridget. He spent most of his time in Action doing the Aftermath. He was nothing like his Island self. He spent more time trying to be like Chris instead of who he actually is. His role in World Tour was mostly the same, doing Aftermath stuff, except he was more chill than he was in Action. Well, when he wasn't taking shots at Blinkley. He did get to appear on the Ridiculous race alongside his teammate Brody, and it felt like he went back to season 1 form, mostly just vibing and wanting to party on. But that doesn't mean his eyes weren't set on the $1 million. Him and Brody made great progress and got really far. Though he might be a high C tier character, I respect Jeff's party going vibes. The next character, Gwen. This is an interesting character. Her season in Island was really solid. She don't rock with most people, but not in a villain way like Heather, and I feel like that makes her unique. Her interactions with other characters like Trent and most definitely Heather were really good. Their beef in Island was great. Her time with Trent in Island was good, then it was not thanks to Heather, and then they managed to patch things up in the finale. A good end to a great season for her. Action, I'm just gonna keep this one short. Her relationship with Trent was not good. They broke things off. She would then throw a challenge and get herself eliminated early. Before we get to World Tour, in the Celebrity Manhunt special, Gwen accidentally spills out on what she thinks of Duncan. For World Tour, she started off decent. It was mostly just Team Amazon things, nothing too crazy, and she was even friend-ish with Courtney. Seemed like things were going alright. Then a certain moment happened in which she became the #1 target for her team, mostly targeted by Courtney, and she would then lose out to Courtney via tiebreaker. They saw her as the new Heather. For All-Stars, her start to the season was a bit slow, trying to make amends with Courtney, but keeps accidentally making things worse. Eventually, things would pick up for her and it seemed like she had a little bond with Courtney. And then the kiss was brought up and they had a fight, but they managed to get past it and became friends. And for a bit, it seemed like their friendship was holding on decently. Then Sunday Muddy Sunday happened, but regardless, Gwen was still decent for this season. Another C-tier character whose best season was in Island. Next up is Harold. He is such a geek, but that's what makes him who he is. That, and I feel like he's a lot funnier than other characters like Beth and Cody. And Harold, he really be clutch for his team at times. When they needed him the most, he showed up. When it's not that, he is mostly getting pushed around by the guys on his team, mostly Duncan. And he made sure to get back by rigging the votes to get Courtney out. He didn't overstay his welcome in Island and he had a pretty good send-off. Though Harold in Action was much better. He was still the same goofy guy from Island, but I feel like here he stepped it up a lot. And as I mentioned earlier, his beef with Duncan was fire. He was much funnier here than he was in Island, and he really got far in this season. Would have loved to see him against Duncan in the finale, that would have been crazy. Though his time in World Tour was very short, took a bit of a derail when Alejandro convinced him to eliminate himself. Overall, I really enjoy Harold as a character. Quite comedic in S tier for sure. The next character, Heather, another face of Total Drama. And I'll say, she is to me a top 3 overall character in Total Drama. Out of everyone in the show, her progression as a character is one of the best. Her run in Island as a villain, amazing. While there were some flaws in the writing, she still did her part as a villain. Her rivalries with Gwen and Lashana were one of, if not the best things about the season. The way she played the game was excellent, causing many eliminations. And the way her run ended was also great. A fair end to an otherwise great villain. She took a bit of a backseat in action, but she was still solid in that season. As for Heather in World Tour, an excellent season that was for her. She was just as entertaining as before, and her rivalry with Alejandro was amazing. She was like an underdog of some sort, and for her to be the one to see through Alejandro, excellent. She appeared in Revenge of the Island, and her cameo was one of the better ones throughout the season. Heather in All Stars was pretty solid for the most part, most notably her moments with Alejandro. Then she makes a rookie mistake by leaving the invisibility statue behind, and it played a key part in her getting eliminated. Overall, Heather is one of the best characters from the entire show. S tier most definitely. When it comes to Izzy, she is another excellent character. She is the definition of chaotic energy. Anytime she's on screen, she brings entertainment. Her time in Island started off short, but once she rejoined, her chaotic energy came back. When it comes to Izzy, her energy just never stops. The chaos that she causes makes her, well, Izzy. As for her season in action, she still had that same amount of chaos. And some moments with Owen, but mostly chaos. But then again, that same energy played a part in her getting eliminated. Then she managed to rejoin somehow, only to get eliminated before the halfway point. Izzy in World Tour was more of the same. Her energy still couldn't be contained. When she wasn't being crazy, she was causing damage to Owen, which is the same as being crazy. Her season had to be cut short due to injury, in which a plane fell on top of her, which turned her into Brainzilla. She played a key part in one of the Aftermath episodes before returning to Prime Izzy, who also played a part in the Aftermath. She made a cameo in Revenge, and it was a pretty good one. She made another one in All Stars, but that one was not as good. Overall, Izzy is also one of the best characters the show has ever had. Another S tier. The next character, Justin. To me, there's not much this character does that is interesting. He didn't do that much in his first season, had 1 or 2 speaking lines in the first episode, and said nothing for the rest of the season. He did put in some effort when it came to challenges, but otherwise his time was very short. He did do much more in action, playing his role as some sort of villain for the first half of the season. He made decent progress there, but other than that, there's not much I like about this character. Not that entertaining to me either. D tier character. Since these two characters always stick together, I'm gonna talk about both Katie and Sadie. When it comes to the positives, they do have great chemistry together. While I don't find them entertaining or comedic, their elimination scenes were pretty good. That would also be their only season competing. Neither character is interesting on their own, because after Katie got eliminated, Sadie got reduced to background character. Overall, I see them both as D tier characters. The next character is another one that I consider one of my top 3 favorites in all of Total Drama, Lashana. Although she comes off as a stereotype, she is one of the best characters from the show. Her beef with Heather in Island, peak. Her as a competitor is fire. One of the more pleasing characters to watch out of the entire cast. It felt like there was nobody that could mess with her. She's an all-around excellent character. Just don't talk about the way she got eliminated in Island. Now that was ridiculous. In action, Lashana felt like less of a stereotype, and that I enjoyed. She was just as entertaining, and she always kept it real with people. Would have liked to see her get further, but it was still a good season. Though Lashana in World Tour wasn't as good as the past 2 seasons, being one of many people to get played by Alejandro in that season, though she did smack a tooth out of Heather's mouth. It would have been nice if she were joined, but that doesn't change my opinion on her. She is still one of my top 3 favorite characters throughout the entire show. Most definitely S tier. Next character, Lindsay. To me, she starts off as a hit or miss character alongside Beth. As silly as she was in Island, she was pretty funny at times. It's what makes her Lindsay, and something I realized about her is that she do be sneak dissing at times without even trying. Her friendship with Beth and relationship with Tyler were cool, though her getting eliminated off of technicality was ridiculous. But her cursing out Heather was hilarious. For action, it seemed like Lindsay was taking charge, being the leader of an otherwise inept team. It seemed like she used her intellect more in action, and she was a better competitor in that season as well. Though her accidentally voting for herself, yeah, that's Lindsay for you. Most of her time in World Tour was forgetting Tyler's name, until she eventually remembered his name. As for Lindsay in All Stars, it felt like her IQ dropped completely. Forgot how to push a baby carriage, forgot Alejandro's name, and voted for herself. Again. Otherwise, Lindsay's a solid character. B tier. Next character to talk about, potential man himself, Noah. For someone who was labeled the schemer in Island, he did none of that. His refusal to compete in dodgeball leading to him getting voted off very early. Though him as a character can be pretty snarky, and to me, he is a character that I can relate to. In World Tour, he was mostly known for being a one-liner machine.
Considering buying myself a life on Craigslist, but having trouble deciding because they are all such a major improvement.
He was quite humorous, and he actually contributed in some challenges this time. And the one challenge he majorly steps up in, his team loses even though they did the challenge correctly, and he gets voted off because Alejandro found out that Noah doesn't trust him. He had a chance to rejoin World Tour, but that didn't go so well. He got to compete in the Redonkulous race alongside Owen. Early on, he was still the same snarky know-it-all, but then he would find someone that would catch his eye. And as nice as that was, it did play a part in his game. Even so, he and Owen made decent progress that season. Although he didn't do a lot as a competitor, it is his snarkiness and relatability that makes him my favorite character throughout the whole show. Next up, Owen. Him as a character was all over the place. He seems like a guy that could get along with any and everybody. His Island season was spectacular. While he did have some moments of being Owen, he felt pretty balanced. A key player in terms of challenges and personality. And it played a huge part in him getting as far as he did in Island. But in action, I felt like there was less of that, and more of him just being Owen, the guy who eats everything and farts all the time. His run in action was kind of alright, but him returning and getting to the final 4, yeah, I don't know about that one. World Tour was kind of okay to start off. His friendship with Noah was cool. His breakup with Izzy was unfortunate, but it did give us a banger song. And as I mentioned before, he and Noah competed together in Redonkulous race. Though he still had some moments of being Owen, he felt like more of a character there than he did in action. That, and it did seem like he was more focused on winning than his teammate was. That's not to say he can't be a wingman. Overall, Owen is a great character, but not with the upper echelon, A tier. When it comes to Trent, there's not a lot I could say about this character. He was mostly just there. His time with Gwen in Island was decent. And the thing I mainly noticed about Trent in Island is that he would take a lot of damage, compared to other contestants at least. He was alright in Island, but in action, it wasn't anything like his first season. His 9 shtick wasn't really entertaining, and it was the only thing he could think of for that season. That and he was throwing challenges. there's not too much I can say about Trent, C tier. And then there's Tyler. For someone whose main trait is sports, they live up to their expectations. Like Noah and Justin, there is not really much they did in Island, but at least they tried to do something. He got to spend a bit of time with Lindsay in Island, but other than that, there is not much I could say about Tyler in that season. I felt like he was much better in World Tour as a comic relief of some sort. He's still the same goofy jock, but he did at least get to shine when playing his comic relief role. Well, when he's not being forgotten at least. Like Trent in Island, Tyler in World Tour also took some damage. I rock with Tyler as a comic relief character, B tier. The last 3 characters didn't compete in the first season, but they're still Gen 1. First up, Blaney. When it comes to her hosting, she does a decent job at it. She knows what to do when it comes to bringing in drama. Her joining World Tour as a competitor was a surprise, I'll have to say. Not a bad plot twist, but I feel like she could have done more as a competitor if she got to compete in more than 2 episodes. But for the time she did compete, she served her purpose. Her having Chef cheat does fit her character, or at least her style. Overall, Blanley's decent, C tier. Next up, Alejandro, arguably the best part of World Tour. Out of all of the characters in this show, he played the villain role the best, using his charm to get others to fall for him, while being a great competitor at the same time. He's Justin if he had any intelligence. His rivalry with Heather was phenomenal. He earned his spot when it came to making the finale, the first and only villain to do so. Alejandro in All Stars was still a pretty good character. He was one of the few characters that remained unchanged, and he wouldn't be him if he didn't stunt on Heather one more time. There's not much bad that I could say about Alejandro, another S tier for sure. The final character to talk about, Sierra. This character is absolute insanity. At first, she seemed pretty unique, knowing a lot about the other contestants while not falling for Alejandro. Knowing that Heather is trying to play her, it seemed like she would be some sort of powerhouse. But when it comes to the other half of Sierra, she is just Cody crazy. Though she at least had some moments of being her own character, and she was really valuable in challenges. She could have made it to the final 3 or possibly even win, but boom goes the dynamite. Sierra in All Stars just flat out sucked. With Cody not there, Sierra is really not a character. And for some reason, they had Cameron take Cody's place as the person Sierra would go for. And it didn't help that she was a lot less valuable in challenges. She was great in World Tour, but nowhere near that in All Stars. C tier overall. And that is my opinion on every Total Drama Gen 1 character. And wow, this took some time. Here's a tier list of my opinion on every character. I'll list my opinions on the Gen 2 cast at some point, and it should take less time since there's only 13 characters. But other than that, take care.